Oh, I hate starting these things over and over again. Uh, so we're actually recording this, and you can leave this in. We're actually recording this right after our Viento episode, but I am doing a one-on-one with one of my lovely co-hosts, Ken, and I think the reason that I want to talk to him first is because him he's a little bit different as compared to my other two co-hosts, as he's really maybe not as well known unless you're really in Chronicles or C Audio Discord, and he's really not a reviewer. um but I just want to talk to him about his reviewing process, and how what he likes, why he likes the things that he likes, and and why how this podcast came to be. And he's actually in episode 0 of the podcast that probably nobody will ever get heard of, and how this podcast came to be. But with me here is Ken. How are you doing? And this is the second time I asked you this question.
Great, great.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Yeah, it's a fun time.
It's a fun time. You're telling me a little bit nervous, but it's okay. I asked. I don't think I'll grill you with the hard questions like I did with Critical, because I think this is more like a chatting with a friend episode. And why don't we just start with the same question? How did you get this hobby started?
Well, I just wanted to replace my broken earphones 2 years back, and then just visited a store because my friend recommended me to, and I just started from there.
And what was that your first? What was your first IEM again?
The one that broke,
Yeah.
that wasn't my first. But that was the Westone UM2.
And then when you went to the audio store, you got something else.
And in the end, I didn't buy anything there, but
Oh, okay.
but I met people, and I got involved in the local community, and then I met Crane, and I met a lot of folks. Yeah.
Yeah, and that got you really into the hobby, and for those people that don't know, you actually have your own measuring rig that's very similar to Critical setup, isn't that right?
Yeah. I got the info from him, and yeah, but of course that I'm not a reviewer, so I'm just measuring for my own benefit, to learn, to find out, because I was on a journey to find out my sound. I did not understand a lot of things, and I thought measurements could help me to understand what I hear, because
Are,
I
are you
always,
telling me that you're measuring for your own benefits and not to just tell people that somehow you know things better than them?
I mean, if people ask me, I'm always willing to share. Yeah, but I bought the mic because I just wanted to find my sound. I wanted to EQ and just know what is going on, and it started from there.
Well, yeah, and that is kind of like a good process, and obviously, and you found your sound, and I think without going into too much detail, you do have your own custom IEM right now, right?
Yeah, I have my own custom. It's not available elsewhere. There's only one in the world.
And you do love to show that, but that maybe that's a podcast for another time if people are interested. But going back, you actually have a pretty long history, and you predates me on a C audio server, and that's how I became known of you. And most people actually know you for being one of our Chronicles mod on his Discord. Uh, you know, and you have a less than savory reputation there, I would say, on Chronicles Discord, for being having a very heavy-handed for a no bullshit mod that that you have to just somehow to tame the plebs, as I would call it. Is that do you enjoy that job? I don't envy you. Do you enjoy that job?
Now I just have to play the bad card sometimes, and so that the other mods will look good.
And obviously I always respect you as somebody who know their shit, and only shares it when somebody asks for it. And I think um it's not like your shit, and it's really intimidating, I feel like, when you somehow sometimes chime in to these conversations on on the server that that really kind of overwhelms a lot of people. And that's how I became known of you, and that's how I joke about you started penciling people as in you everybody, if you want to go see the John Wick clip where he killed like 3 people with a pencil, like I think that's the joke that I would make to people. Oh, he's about to pencil somebody. But and you do, but you have a short history. Maybe how long have you been in the hobby? Like what, 2 years?
2 years, about 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a it's like a very expedited, like I want to say like a progression, because you do live in Singapore. For those who doesn't know, like you do live in Singapore, so there's a lot of availability when it comes to demoing IEMs. So tell me how that mass demoing came to be, like the story of that, when you got your measuring rig and you just went to the stores.
I didn't get my measuring rigs that early. In fact, I demoed most of the stuff before I got the measuring rig.
Oh,
So
okay.
so like after getting into the hobby, getting to the community, meeting people, I took about 4 months. I listened to over 200 pairs of earphones all over Singapore, and that was the bulk of it. Of course, before I got into this seriously, of course I listened to some stuff and in the regular electronic store, the ones that are on the shelf, blah blah blah, the generic brands, But of course that wasn't a lot. I mean, maybe like 20, 30 at most. But yeah, in 4 months of when I started, yeah, that was accelerated, definitely. I think I got my mic about roughly half a year in or so, and then I just wanted to find out more, and as hear something I don't understand, and I try to like learn more, like using science, audio science, so to understand more about what I hear, and when I do certain things, and or to change certain frequency, what do I get? Yeah. So that was the purpose of the measuring rate.
Right. And you don't, like, I but you don't write any reviews,
I don't
and that's like,
a review.
right. So why don't you, like, you say you're not a reviewer, and obviously I'm not a reviewer. Why, like, since you have all these, like, you demo all these things and you actually measure all these things too, why don't you review things?
I enjoy being in a community. I like to talk to people. I like to meet people in a store, discuss about audio. We have a proper debate and understanding why the other person is listening that way, or what they're using, what is the pairing, and why do they hear this sound, and we have good discussion. But as a reviewer, I guess it's more of one-way traffic. I'm not really, like, it just never dawned upon me to go that route. So I just never think about it. So
Right,
never thought.
yeah, right, and you would just, like, you would say that you enjoy the hobby because the community, as toxic as they are these days, maybe the social, like the real life social interaction, because you are in Singapore, and you actually, well, I mean, outside of the quarantine, if the quarantine, pre-quarantine, actually you do meet people that in real life. You guys do talk about that, and you appreciate that interaction more than just writing a review than having people comment on it. Is that what you value more?
Yeah, and of course, like, even discussion, if discussing online isn't really great, because I don't know where the person is coming from. I don't hear what they hear. I mean, like, when I meet people, I can, like, listen to their gear as well as their music, and try and understand where they're coming from. Then we can have a better understanding, and then the discussion or the debate will be more fruitful. So it's, even with different what do you call it, preferences, it's actually pretty easy to find agreement on stuff, or even agree to disagree. Like I like bass, so I need to let people know I like bass. So that therefore, like, a lot of things I like are very bass heavy. So, and of course that different people have different preferences, and I enjoy understanding and finding out more about different preferences out there, different sound signature, and of course, at the meantime, I also explored and I found new music. When people like try this orchestra, I'm like, oh wow, this is nice. Like I'll come buy the album, and things like that. So it's not just the social interaction, but I also explore and found new music. Yeah.
Right. And and talking to you, over voice chat, and I do, value, without naming names, I do value your opinion because we do have like very similar tastes, and over some, maybe go reading a review. I hope everybody will have the Ken in their life, and obviously this one is mine. Nobody's, taken. So if everybody wants some other Ken to talk to, they got to find their own. But but it's a funny thing because I want to this podcast started out with my conversation with you.
Yeah.
Do you still remember that?
Yeah, episode 0, right? Yeah.
Yeah, episode 0. This podcast started out as, I wanted to talk to you about Chronicles IEM when he did a collaboration with Fearless, and that was the first episode. And we actually talked on voice chat for like 3 and 4 hours over over like what we like, and I wanted something from you. I wanted to ask you pretty much. It was a very long question, obviously. It's like a 3-hour question of whether or not that IEM is worth my time listening to.
Right.
Yeah, and that actually you were like, and Anthony was just like right now Anthony just sitting in there listening. So Anthony was like pretty much the only audience to episode 0, and that's how episode 0 came to be. And after that, Anthony told me, say, hey, we should do a podcast, and here we are. And what I'm trying to say is that knowing your standing in the community and what I obviously have a lot of respect for you, and I respect your opinion. Without maybe going into too much detail, you have a measuring rig, as most people don't know. You also have a list.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It started because of episode 1, right? And it was like, hey, you asked me during episode 1, like what are the top and so on. So it's like, okay, I might also make a short list, a simple short list, top 5, and it went on to the top 10 and so on. It's like, to heck with it. Let me just expand the list, and there you go. I have a list now.
Right, and one of the in the episode 0 of our podcast that nobody will ever get to hear is that me talking to you about your list and what you think what you like the most. So maybe we'll probably do a little short rundown, to this list. And the first topic, and the first thing I asked you is that your favorite BA IEMs, and that's why, and then maybe people know why I like you so much. And you want to run, you want to run down that list on your favorite BAs?
Well, right now the favorite BAs are Violet, Edition Violet, QDC VX, and Elysian Terminator V2. But of course, Elysian IEMs only come in custom, so that's I think for this, we're not talking about that, right?
And you do have like your top 3, and obviously people, and I am known to be a VX show. Like at that point, I think instantly it's like this man gets me. And we do talk about the list, and you said that it's Violet and VX, and then Terminator V2, and I do like, again, I haven't heard Violet and I haven't heard Terminator, and we do agree that maybe outside of maybe these 3 IEMs, like maybe the 4 and 5 doesn't really come close to what these top 3 really represent. Like wouldn't you say these 3 IEMs are like pretty much the best representation of of a multi BA IEM?
Yeah, to me that is.
And like, why is that?
They offer things that are out of the norm, things that are not common. The complete package. Each of them have unique technicalities or emphasis that most IEMs do not have, or they may attempt to, but end up in a disaster.
And so like I feel like for all BA, right? Is it something like you have to do everything well to a certain point, and then you have to have something special, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because like I like bass, of course. For bass, definitely is dynamic driver. So for BA, definitely bass department already takes a hit. So if there's nothing else that's really outstanding, then it's just a normal good IEM. So like to have it above the rest, you need really something special.
And for something like, then what's so special about the top three? If you want to run down, like, why do you think they're special?
Why I think that's special. Okay, so let's talk about edition Violet. I do like the bass. It's very clean and a lot of bass, very clean sub bass race, and I enjoy that a lot. But although it may seem that bass is the the most prominent thing, but when I listen for quite a while, it's actually the sweet vocals, the very balance. To me it's balance. Like I do enjoy the vocals, but it's not neutral, it's a little colored, but I do enjoy the vocals, the layering, the separation, the imaging, and orchestra, and there's just so much details that a lot of other IEMs just simply do not deliver. And then QDC VX is um, not new. I mean, it's been around for a while, and yeah, definitely it does have top technicalities. And before Violet, uh, I think for a very long time, is one of the better BA bass out there. Uh, I think the only thing that can be better is, or can come close, is U12T, but U12T just simply loses so much in every other department. So it's out of the race. And for VX, it's a very complete package, because of course in this top three, VX is the oldest. So if anything, it was there first. For Terminator, for Elysian Terminator, I think the realistic soundstage, and I do talk to Elysian a fair bit. I do know him. I visit him in KL, and I talk to him about IEM design and things like that. And I ask him like, why am I hearing this? So in fact, the Elysian Terminator has very interesting implementation for the bass. It actually has an acoustic chamber, which most BAs, pure BAs, do not. They don't do that. Yeah.
And before, like, you did, like, and I did talk to you before, and you did make some revision to the list. And now that we kind of made a meme out of saying that M9 is mid-fi. Are
Yeah.
you standing by that comment?
Yeah. It is. It is mid-fi. I mean,
You want to justify that? You want to go more into why
just
M9? Again, like, I agree with you. I agree with you. That shit is mid-fi. Why is that mid-fi? You tell me.
it's basically one of the triple IEMs out there that are good, and it's something that I wouldn't mind listening to. It's like when you heard something better and the bar is raised, you wouldn't want to listen to something that isn't good. So like something else could be good to someone else, but it's just not good enough for you anymore. So M9 is
Right.
one of the, hey, it is still good enough.
Like, so it's more like a perspective, and
Yeah.
one of the other things that I do you know enjoy talking to you is that we somehow have this kind of maybe quotation mark impossible standards for IEMs, that if you're not the best, it's just not cutting it, right? And that's why you are saying like, oh, maybe M9 is mid-5 because it's not one of the best IEM, and on your ranking you still give it pretty high up,
Yeah, it
as
is. It is.
yeah.
It is. it is still something really good. It does have a lot going on for it, but if I have something better, why would I buy M9? So therefore, it is mid five to me. Basically, anything that's not the top is mid five to me. You know.
I do have to agree with you here. If you're not the top dogs, then you're just mid five, unfortunately. But it's not a bad IEM, and I just like to maybe put things in perspective when somehow we have maybe a very high standard when it comes to like criticizing IEMs, and just because it comes from you pretty much have heard them all, like being in Singapore, you have heard all the good IEMs, and that's why you have a very like maybe a broad perspective, maybe compared to someone who hasn't
Yeah.
in NA.
Yeah, because
But
having
yeah.
heard a lot of IEMs, a lot of and then like even at stores, they could be like, oh hey, this maybe the storekeeper can say, oh this IEM does not work well with your sauce, and like hey, like just pass me another sauce that will work well with it, and things like that. So I get to try like from multiple perspective, not just with my sauces. So yeah, I did getting really to try a lot of stuff, widen the knowledge, and like well, of course, it raised the bar a little too high.
Too high? I don't think it's too high. Uh, everything for its price, right? I mean, you just. But um, let's move on to that. You do separate your list a little bit different about your
Yeah,
full power
because the
for
list
sure.
started from you asking me what is the top
Right.
five universal pure BA, something like that, and I thought it would be fair to have at least the top few in its own category, and then when it hits like below a certain rank, then whatever, like they will just go into regular list.
Right. So why don't we talk about the hybrid? And the other reason that I like you so much. So like, what's on your hybrid list?
Okay, so for hybrid, dynamic driver hybrid custom will be Elysian Annihilator. And for the universal, we have Ziona. So both these are the top dogs.
Right. Obviously, I have the other IEM that you love very much. I do have my Xeon arm with me, and we do talk about this again, like probably like old conversation. Is that there's really not that many good hybrids out there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's just not there's just not many hybrids at all in the first place. Like comparatively.
Well, I mean, there are. There's a lot of hybrids out there, but they're just not good.
No, it's like in the whole grand scheme of things, like pure BA, pure like DD, and then hybrid. So hybrids are definitely a smaller percentage in the grand scheme of things. So
Yeah.
to some, we don't have that much. And when we look at the results, a lot of them are just average. At most average. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I'm saying that it's people say that, oh, it's a relatively new technology, but like how new is it really? I
No,
I I, I
it,
remember,
it's pretty old. It's like the UE, what's that, Super 5, EV 5 EV. It was there years ago. It's been there.
right, but the first hybrid that I noticed is actually Empire Legend X. That was the first big hybrid, isn't it? At least
Yes,
for me,
that was the first one that got like
a
very
lot of
well
traction.
received. Yeah,
Mm.
a lot of traction, and it's like it exceeds a certain bar that previously well, it was just too low.
Right. And I do want to talk to you about this little bar again. Um, well, obviously the bar here is Z1R, and like for a universal hybrid, I feel like there's nothing really comes close to how to it, like, right. I think in my mind, and you tend to agree with me, that the last good hybrid, like before the Z1R, was the 64 Tia Trio,
Yeah,
right?
it is, and it's A in my rank. Yeah.
And that have its own problems. I have a lot of problems.
Mm.
You wanna shit on the trio for a little bit?
Okay, I think like to put things into perspective first, like IEMs like 99% out there are compromised. It will not excel well in everything, but you want most of it to be good enough at least. And then if you can like for different people with different preferences, there's certain things they can lose. Like example for me, I'm not gonna buy something that has weak base, like that's not cutting it. So that's not something I can compromise. But for someone else, maybe like everything else is good, the base is just about average. It'll be fine with them. So in the case of Tia Trio, I guess the biggest issue that I have with it was the incorrect placement of instruments. The imaging and placement it's just odd. It's not realistic. It's not accurate. So if you have a full orchestra, the instruments will not be coming from the places that you expect them to be coming from. Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue that I have with the Tia Trio, or rather, not just the Tia Trio, even the Forte. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and Trio is known for having its wonky imaging and tonality for whatever reasons. But that was what Trio was like. Probably the best hybrid for a long time until Z1R came about. And you are obviously a DD slut that you love everything that with the DD. And
Right.
so that's why you rank DDIMs maybe higher than whatever BA that you have.
Right.
So tell me, like, what do you look for in a BA, like in a DD base? Excuse
DD basically. So I mean some backgrounds. All right. So like I do go to live band, live concert, or whatever live performance, right? So the speakers are DD, right? So and for IEMs, the bass texture, the sub bass response, really brings out a lot of the atmosphere that I'm looking for, the live feeling, the excitement. So definitely in a good DD setup, be it a single or hybrid, the presence of the bass must be felt. And if there's no good bass, then the bass guitar is dead. There's no soul in the music. That's for me. So a good layered, uh, clean sub bass, rumble, lots of rumble, and rumble a lot of IEMs, be it hybrid or pure DD, just have it. If they have a lot of rumble, it's usually very dirty. So I think that's quite a hard thing to do, and that's why when I say there's not a lot of good hybrid, a lot of them when they get the rumble, they don't. It's not clean, or when it's clean, there's not enough rumble, or then if they have both, then like the texture is, it's just bad texture. It's not layered. The base is just one note. Yeah.
Right, and Z1R is probably the first hybrid that hits all the notes for you what you're looking for in terms of like a DD bass. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. Definitely well, for hybrid. Yes, it's one of
Right.
the best. It is the best now. Yes, for hybrid.
And without shitting on the Americans too much, um, I always feel like and I do have a similar taste. I'm not as you know needy or I don't like value DD bass as much as you. I don't think anybody do. But I do agree with you that I like clarity and impact and obviously those two are a lot of the times mutually exclusive. Uh, case in point, uh, like I always said that I cannot decide which hybrid have the worst pace, Legend X or Solaris, because I don't like Legend X when it comes to like it sounds very like bloaty and like very like maybe unhinged and just like uncontrollable. But I feel like and on the other hand, that Solaris just sounds like very like limp and like unenergetic and very sloppy. Is that and I feel like you have the same sentiment. Is that right?
Yeah. So for Legend X, is you get lots of bass, lots of wow factor. But the bloat the bloat can really get to you, and the bass texture is the problem. There's lots of bass. That but there's just not enough texture. Um, in fact, there are quite a few single DD IEMs that can really do really good bass texture. So the bass texture for Legend X isn't cutting it. For Solaris, yeah, you get a bit more. You do get more bass texture. But there's just not enough. Not enough bass. It's just there. That's about it. Just not
Right. It just
not
doesn't have the impact.
yeah. It has impact. It has rumble. Just not enough. It's just there, and that's about it. Yeah.
And you want to maybe talk to me a little bit about what do you mean by like bass texture?
Base texture. Base layering. Base texture. When the base is tight and not loose and not bloaty, it's like bloatiness has a bit of correlation with the texture. Typically, if it's well textured, then it's likely to be not as bloaty, not as overwhelming, and we got upper base bloat, or for some people they like to say mid base bloat. And the texture can also be part of the reverb. So like for any bass instrument, bass guitar, like there's a resonance of the bass guitar, or any of the bass instruments, you will get that reverb. So with poor texture, you will have a very bloaty reverb, or very echoey reverb that is unnatural, or sometimes the reverb is just not there in the first place. Like which is worse, like bad reverb or hardly any reverb. So yeah, bad texture DD bass does feel unnatural.
And I feel like that's one of the things that people have to balance when it comes to like a hybrid IEM, that you want a lot of impact, but then but you don't want to kind of having too much impact, so it like causes like a bloatiness that you feel, and you just have to balance, the impact versus the texture. Is that what I'm getting at?
Yes, right. It's a very very team balance. So like we have texture, we have impact, and we have rumble. So like to have all three is really really hard.
And what makes you think that the Z1R does it so well?
Z1R does it the best for a hybrid, but for single DD there are certain of these three that a single DD can do better, but not in all three departments. Typically, yeah, you can maybe win two department. It's hard to win all three department. I guess the closest that I have heard that has so much texture and impact would be the EX1000, but of course it has lesser rumble than the Z1R.
And like, are we seeing like, is this, and we do see a lot of like, hybrids out there. Is that like a worrying trend for you, that all of them are just kind of um like middle of the road, you know, hybrids that's just like costing a lot of, like, they charge, a company charge a lot of premiums for being a hybrid, right? And they
Right.
just put a DD in there without really having like a advantage of having a DD. Is that is that just like a laziness on company's part, or is it just like they're not like the technology is not really there yet.
I don't think it's a technology issue. It's more of a tuning issue. I think with the previous episode we talk about Viento being just 4BA or very OBAs and they tune it well. So it's similarly it is the same for hybrid. It's just not the capabilities, the ability to tune it well is not there yet. I mean, of course, things are improving. We have a lot of hybrids that are okay now. They're not they're average. You know, they're not bad as compared to some years back where most are bad. You know, now at least the current market we have more things hitting average. But of course, average is not where I'm looking for. You know, like we are looking things that
What is okay? What's out there that's okay? Enlighten me.
okay. Of course, like I mentioned earlier on, there always be compromise. So like if we look at things that are okay, something common. Let's see, something common. The Hyla Audio SADA or the C5, that has good bass,
Right.
but
The high
yeah, but of course that has the lower mid scoop that most people are complaining about. So like it's the design of IEM. So like if you like your lower mids, that's not for you. But if you don't mind that, yeah, it does good clean bass. There's texture, there's impact, there's rumble.
Right, and I feel like Z1R is kind of like the only complete package in a way that without sacrificing too much on any of the other department, right?
Right. For hybrid, yes, definitely. So like maybe something lower hybrid that is good enough. Good enough.
You're having trouble finding. I don't really think in my head that probably the C5 lineup, and
Uh,
after that is probably the trio, and that's about it. But trio is $2,000, so it's
I
really
mean
on
there's the Jomo Trinity.
Trinity. It's about $3,000
Yeah,
while being okay. I don't think you wanna say a $3,000 IEM is just okay, right?
right.
Do you know what I love a lot? The Empire Valkyrie. There you go. That's pretty okay.
Yeah, but it's a similar issue with the C5 and the SADA. It's just lower mix is not there.
Right, and honestly, I think like people who want a hybrid doesn't really like. I think the point of a hybrid is just to have big bass and big treble. It's supposed to be like a V-shaped sounding IEM, and you forget everything in between. It's just like a fun thing that you have, right? But if
More
you want to all
U shape.
like yeah, your U-shaped IEM, you big sub bass and big treble, and and pretty much nothing in between. And that's what most like I feel like most company is going for, until Z1R came along, which is not maybe not an all rounder, maybe a better all rounder than everything else on the market. Would
Hmm.
you agree?
Yeah, yeah, because there's always compromise and like where is it at? You know, like for Ziwana, the lower mids definitely is lesser, but hey, you know, it's still a lot more than Valkyrie and the Hyla stuff.
And you know, and that's why I think we do agree. Like we talk from time to time, and that's why I think we agree a lot on our opinions. And I always say like you're probably a more knowledgeable and less annoying and aggressive version of me, and having you on the podcast to just validating my opinion is very useful. But this is something that I actually do like to talk to you about, both of our love for QDC, because it is one of the company that uh, I show professionally, and you obviously love yourself because you have but the majority of the QDC lineup on the on your list. You wanna maybe
I'm
go
definitely
through that?
not a mega fan as compared to you. Like I just have to acknowledge that they are good. You know, like they do have certain thing going on. I'm definitely not a mega fan as compared to you. I
But I want you to tell people that they are the best tri-fi ever.
Well, Tri-Fi are just so many out there, right? And I think QDC is uh not a newcomer. It's been around, and they make very solid IMs. And in fact, I can't even say any of the IMs are bad. You know, it's just whether like I like it or not. I can't say objectively it is bad. You know, like but like things I will like, oh, you know, I will find fault with it, and like, okay, it has to go one rank down because it's a little too sharp. The base is not good enough, you know, and things like that. But if even after what do you call that, uh nitpicking, and most of them are still in B.
Well, yeah, and we talked about this about like there's like in maybe going back to the full BA lineup in at that and QDC obviously that's what they do mostly. Just if you ignore the awful hybrid that they make, they do make some of the best full multi BA IEMs on the market, and we talk about this that like until that they came along, like I feel like uh there isn't like anything that's like really really good until like QDC maybe like and again like QDC 8 series predates the U12T, right? Until the QDC 8 series came along, there's really not anything in the full BA range that's like super impressive. Maybe like the high edition, Viento, right?
Yeah, but of course, it's like when people look at QDC as G5, but like the prices are not the usual G5. Of course, like if we talk about present day, yeah, the G5 prices are getting really really high, but just ignoring the G5 label, just look at QDC IEMs as it is. I think the 8 series is very solid. I mean, like I of course I do prefer certain like of the 8 series. I really don't like the 8SS as compared to the 8SL. 8SL is my favorite, you know, and even as the if you call even compared with Gemini and stuff like 8SL is easier to listen as compared to Gemini, because Gemini is more aggressive. So when it comes to the higher end QDC stuff, it's more flavor. They like I had to find fault with it. Like of course we're comparing the top dogs, right? And Gemini has more resolution than 8 series when I compare like side by side. When I compared when I got the Dawn with me, I compared it against the M9, the PP8, and so on. You know, like I had them side by side. It's where like, hey, you know, like 8 series is a little lower, but in the grand scheme of things, the 8 series are really solid.
And that's what I think that's what I really agree with you. And when I talk to you about a lot of things is that I have this test, and you did mention like a lot of tri-fi out there that's nowadays that's popping out that's only $1,000, $1,400, and I always ask you the same question: is it better than the A series? It's like that barrier to entry, right? I
Yeah,
think that's
the 8 series is
right.
your keeper.
Right, that for you, like for you, for being a good IEM, that you have to at least match up with how good the A series is in majority of the category or every single category. And A series being it very old, it still really stands up the test of times of how good they are as an all-rounder. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I'll say for the older IEMs, been around for a while, and something to beat. Yeah, because basically if you can beat 8SL, you are in A for in maybe my list.
Right, and and maybe your A in your list, it's top of the line for somebody else. And you do like M9 a lot, and
Yeah, I do
you
like M9.
put it above the 8 series.
Yeah, I do.
And I have a problem with that. So maybe you wanna go in a bit about why you think the M9 is maybe better when it
Okay,
comes to.
because I think in the earlier podcast, episode one, when we compared Dawn and stuff, and we talk about resolution and things like that. So when I got to compare the resolution, the M9, PP8, the Viento just that had little bit lesser resolution than Dawn, and Gemini is higher resolution, like just technicalities. It's just a little bit higher, and that was the differentiator between A and A minus, because in my list is M9, Dawn, Gemini. Yeah, they all have higher resolution than the 8 series.
And
That's
does that play like that just in technicalities, right? And you do I want to say you do somewhat value technicalities more than other people. Is
uh
that at least when it comes to BAs?
uh yeah, because okay, first of all, of course, I must enjoy it. I wouldn't rank something A if like it's something that I can't enjoy at all. It's this like it can be the most amazing technical thing out there, but if I can't enjoy it at all, I will not put it in A. And of course, like even Gemini, I'll say, hey, for most easy listening, 8XL is easier to listen, although it's slightly lower res, but well, with more bass and less aggressive treble, yeah, it's easier to listen to. And even if you compare, let's say, okay, M7 and 8SL, M7 will be definitely easier to listen to. So it's different genre, different type of music, different mood for different IEM. There's always what do you call it? The use case. I guess that's the closest word I can use. Yeah, but
Oops.
so although Gemini is good, it's not something I want 24/7 in my ears, because that would be fatiguing to me. At least in universal form, But
Right.
but looking at the QEC stuff, what I definitely observe is, at least for um uh that's my opinion on the 8 series, the Gemini and the VX. Looking at the graph, they are not tuned for universal. They are tuned for custom. Because when you have a dipper fit, you have lesser treble, you get more treble extension. And looking at the graph, where that peaky treble is, that intense treble is, will be shifted to treble extension. So I feel that if I'm to get like things like Gemini, like, oh, I have to get it in custom. If not, I'm not gonna listen 8 hours a day on it. It's just too much.
Right. And now that you have a measuring rig and have a list, and obviously you're doing this podcast, is it time to see the reviewer, Ken? Are you gonna have reviews now?
Uh, I I'm I'm not. Uh, there's no push and pull factor for me to do reviews. I don't have any incentive to do so. So
Yeah, I'm
I
just lazy.
but as of now, I can keep an open mind. But as of now, I think it's just too much trouble to write reviews on a regular basis. But if it's a guest, I guess maybe I can, for Android's website.
And then but if you want to hear, if people want to hear your extra opinion on what you think on IEM, of course they can come listening into the podcast, or talk to you on Prince Discord. But I don't think people want to ping you over there because you might just ban them for asking stupid questions. Um, but I think this is more of like a friendly chat between me, Ken, and I, and about how just maybe give a more perspective on what you think on IEMs and why you have these kind of perspective when you speak in the podcast. Is there anything that you want to add when it comes to this Liz measuring rig? Why you love VX so much? Anything?
I like I say, I can't say I love VX that much. You really have to acknowledge what it is, and because after all, I love bass, and I love dynamic driver bass, and a lot of my preference comes from live music, like I as opposed to the regular folks where like they want neutral and stuff like that. No, I'm like I love colored sound. Like live sound is colored. It can be a studio recording. I buy the CDs. It can be studio recording. They can be live, but I just want them to sound like live. That is the way I like to enjoy my music. I color it, and I don't care how people like it to be, because this is my music. This is how I listen to them. So, and the amount of bass and things like that, it just in live music there's so much bass. The presence is there. So I mean, you don't go to a concert and be like they there, right? Even for orchestra there's so much reverb, and of course in a well treated concert hall, and that grand feeling that you can't get if the bass is there. You simply can't get it.
One last question, and then I'll let you go. Best cheap blind buy Kendor's IEM. Go. Cheap as in under $1,000. And why is it the ACL?
ACL is not under 1,000.
Oh, whatever. Fine. Best cheap under $1,000 Kendor's IEM. Blind buy.
Blind buy.
Yeah. Throw it out there, like general all-rounder. And I know what you're gonna say.
1,000. 1,000. That's a hard one.
American dollars.
Is SH3 above 1,000?
SH3? No, it's not. 4SS is also not under 1,000.
Paris is over 1,000, right?
Oh yeah, Paris. Yeah, if you're talking about SH3, yeah.
Under 1,000. That is tough.
M9 is under 1,000. It's just $1,000. M7 is.
Yeah, but M9, M7 is really hard to recommend blind buy because of warm. Okay, like if the disclaimer is if you like warm,
4SS is under $1,000.
Sorry?
4SS.
4SS. 4SS is warm as well. Let's see.
It's not that warm.
It's
supposed to be a firm answer. Come on, man.
Nah, it's tough because I don't recommend blind buy unless you know what you're doing. Because if you are asking for recommendation, probably you do not know what you're doing.
Well, yeah, but like your blind buy, just throw it out there. There's like just some person, some random person ping you on Discourse. Like, what should I get? I got $1,000. They don't tell you anything else. Just be good for most things.
That is so.
It's not as serious. Just throw a name out there. But I'm sure people won't blame you for not liking your recommendation.
To be honest, I would like to say JVC FDX1.
There you go.
Because that is something that is not expensive. It's DD based, very well tuned. It solves the issues of the FD01. Very well built. Very good DD. Of course, technically this isn't over the top. It's just a single DD, but for what it gives, yeah, I think it's a really safe. Unless you hate bass, yeah.
I don't think anybody can hate bass, and there you have it. If you want to catch more Ken, you can catch him on as my first ever co-host on Audio, or you can probably catch him schooling the plebs on Chronicles Discord. Thank you for joining us.